Well, hello, everybody, and hello, Pratt Young Scholars of 2024. We are so excited to officially welcome you to our Scholars Program. By the way, please consider turning on your cameras. We'd love to see you as we welcome you. All of you are here because you earned the opportunity to be here. You're here because of your portfolios, your academic dedication, and your ambition, all of which stood out among all the applications that we received. Your talents and abilities have earned you a place in what I think is our remarkable and unique program, designed to help you find your pathway in the worlds of art and design, to develop your skills as artists, to introduce you to possible careers in the worlds of art and design, and to support you in getting into the right college for you. The next 3 years are going to be exciting and challenging. You'll get to know some of Pratt's amazing faculty in the School of Art and Design and Architecture. You'll learn fundamental skills of art and architecture, art and design. You'll take classes that are going to stretch your imaginations. And I'm going to tell you the truth. You can have great days and quite possibly some days in the studio where you feel like you're struggling. But that's just part of the process of becoming an artist or a designer. And in the midst of all that, we hope that you'll find friends who are as passionate about the arts as you are. My name is Daniel Bergman, and I'm the director of the Center for Art, Design, and Community Engagement K-12 at Pratt. And it's the Center K-12 that runs and supports the Pratt Young Scholars Program that you're a part of. Well, we're here today primarily to celebrate you and to take this opportunity to cover what you can expect as a scholar during the next 3 years. You'll take the classes you'll take, the college preparation you'll receive, and all the people who will support you in your journey as a scholar. We've also invited some special guests to speak in celebration of your achievement. But before we move to our first speaker, I want to give you a challenge. Here's the truth. You were accepted into this program because we believe in you as artists. We want you to be successful as artists. So, be artists. Take the assignments your teachers give you and enjoy them. Play with them. And above all, make them your own. Find a way to make your voice, your vision seen and heard. We know you have it in you. We can't wait to see it. With that in mind, I'd like to introduce you to the first of our speakers today. This year, I'm so excited to welcome Pratt alumnus Rem Duplessis. Rem is currently a group creative director within Apple's worldwide marketing department. Rem graduated from Pratt in 1996 with a master's in design and visual communications. Before working at Apple, Rem was the design director of the New York Times Magazine, you know, that magazine that comes inside the New York Times every Sunday, where he led the department named the Design Team of the Year by the Art Directors Club for 3 consecutive years. And during his time at the magazine, it received numerous awards, including even an Emmy for the film series called Touch of Evil. He was honored as a distinguished alumni of Pratt Institute, an AIGA medalist, and recognized by the D&AD, ADC, SPD, TDC, AIGA, American Photography, Graphics, and many other professional organizations. Among other things, Rem was part of the team that redesigned GQ magazine. And in doing so, they created a typeface called GQ Gotham, which is now just referred to as Gotham. You would recognize it from Obama's campaigns, in ads for Coca-Cola, and even on Saturday Night Live. It's become one of the most recognizable typefaces of a generation. Rem has also served as a visiting professor within Pratt's Graduate School of Communication and Design, at the School of Visual Arts, and the Royal Danish Academy of Fine Arts in Copenhagen, Denmark. He's lectured throughout the United States and abroad, including in London, Copenhagen, Oslo, Madrid, Barcelona, Jakarta, and Dubai. Not a bad life for a guy in the arts. We're really thrilled to have Rem with us today. Rem, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for that introduction, Daniel. Glad to be here. Hey, everyone. So do we have, should I follow, I'll follow your lead. Do you want me just to dive in and talk about myself, or start with questions, or how do you want to, how should we do this?
I would say, by all means, dive in. Tell us a little bit about your pathway, how you got to where you are, and yeah, then if you want to open it up for some questions, that'd be great.
Sure. What are the what grades are we looking at here? Is this all through high school?
They are sophomores. They are high school sophomores.
Sophomores. All right. So I'll start there for myself. That's a good starting point. So somewhere where you can relate. So when I was in high school, I went to high school in Virginia. The only thing I knew that I really liked to do was draw. You know, that was my big, you know, when I'm kind of alone and in my thoughts, listening to music, I'd always loved to draw. Other than that, I really had no idea what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. When I was in 10th grade, 11th grade came along, and I had to start thinking about, you know, my next step after high school. So long story short, my mother, who was a fine artist, she encouraged me to look into graphic design. And to be honest with you, I had no idea what graphic design was. The world was a lot different back then, because I couldn't just type into a computer and find this amazing world of imagery and definitions and interviews and all this stuff that you have access to now. Back then, you know, in a small town like Virginia, Hampton, Virginia, you know, there weren't a lot of resources. I had never met anyone, a family friend or a relative that was a graphic designer. I didn't know any graphic designers. They were a big mystery, but I loved the definition of a graphic designer, and it sounded like something that I really wanted to do. So I figured out how to pursue it. So by the time my senior year rolled around in college, or high school rather, I had a good idea that I wanted to study graphic design in college. I then enrolled in Hampton University, which is a historically Black college in Virginia. And I studied graphic design there, but it was an extremely small program. We had one computer to share with the entire major. And you know, I had one professor, the same professor, all 4 years of my undergraduate experience. And the reason why was Hampton University really wasn't, it still isn't an art school. So graphic design, there were maybe 15 of us that were graphic design majors. So I didn't, you know, I didn't have a lot, there wasn't a huge student body of graphic designers. And that's exactly why I applied to Pratt Institute for graduate school. I wanted to move to New York. Going to New York was a dream of mine. And also furthering my education. I had a portfolio good enough to get into to Pratt Institute, but I didn't feel I was ready for the professional world. I wanted to learn more from different professors, and also I wanted to learn from professors that were actually working in the field as they taught. So that was important to me as well. So applied to graduate school, got in, and that's really where I was exposed to the multiple layers of graphic design and what it means to be a designer. And I think at Pratt, I developed my passion for design without question. And I was able to fulfill my goal of having professors that were actually working professionals as well. There was one guy that was, he's no longer at Pratt, but he was the creative director at J. Crew at the time. So he would come in and talk about real life stories around what happened in the design studio and how to present to his bosses and their thinking on graphic design. He taught me a lot about branding and consistency. So I like to say that I became polished at Pratt, and then also I was exposed to New York City, and I started meeting hundreds of graphic designers. They were everywhere, So that made me feel better about the field that I wanted to get into, because it was a little scary. And through that, I progressed through a lot of hard work. When I was your age, I didn't even have a portfolio. A lot of high school students now are showing some really impressive portfolios, or at least the beginning stages of a portfolio. I didn't have that. It took me a while to really figure out what it meant to be a graphic designer and how to apply it to my thinking, and later to my professional life. And a big question that I always get is, well, how did you make it to a place like Apple? And I would say through a lot of hard work, dedication, passion, tears, thick skin, a lot of rejections, and a lot of failures. I learned that, especially in graphic design, whatever visual, actually, anything that you're doing visually, anything in the arts, you're putting your passion out there to a group of people to critique it, and that can be very intimidating. So I had to learn how to have a thick skin and to take criticism well, because generally speaking, the good people that really wanted to give criticism that was constructive, there was meaning behind it. There was a lesson behind it. So I had to learn to figure out what they were really trying to say to me when they were critiquing my work, and then take those critiques and become better. So I've been at Apple now for 7.5 years, and it's a lot different than what I was doing in magazines. Big difference is that I rarely work in print anymore. Obviously, when I worked in magazines, the print side of things was a big component. Now, the work that we do in print is usually centered around billboards for shot on iPhone campaigns. But for the most part, it's all digital, or it's in films or TV campaigns. And I was a practicing graphic designer and creative director within the design space for 20 years before I moved to Apple, and I created a team at Apple, excuse me, that is the photography team. And we're a team mostly made up of people that studied design but have a passion for photography. And what we do is, there's about 35 of us, and our job is to create content and imagery that you see out in the world that has an Apple logo on it. So a lot of the photography that you see in the world, my team had something to do with it, and television campaigns as well. So I was blessed enough to take what I learned in the editorial world, in magazines and journalism, and apply it to my everyday life at Apple. So it was a huge learning experience for me. And I guess the one thing that I want all of you to know, because you're still young and figuring things out, is it's okay to be afraid. It's absolutely okay to be afraid, and you should be afraid. But you should also be inquisitive and curious, and take your time and do your research on the things that you're interested in. And also understand that a decision that you make now, or even when you go to college, regarding what you choose to major in, doesn't necessarily define the rest of your life. That's just one part of your life. That's one stage of your life. And it's okay to study English in college and become a filmmaker as a professional. There's many paths to creativity. So the big thing also is don't put too much pressure on yourself about decisions that you're making now or in the near future. It'll all work out, trust me. You just have to put the work in. That makes sense?
It makes an awful lot of sense, Ram. Thank you so much for sharing those parts of your story and that encouragement with our scholars. And it is so important to know what you said, that there are so many pathways through to creativity. Mm-hmm. And at the heart of it is just to remain inquisitive and curious, and to recognize that your directions may change, your ideas may change, your pathway may evolve across time, but to stay open to your creative self. You never know where it's going to lead you.
Yeah, and if you have a passion for something and you really want to pursue it, it goes back to, like I said before, having thick skin, because there will be people that will tell you that you're not good enough, or you don't have enough experience, or, criticism A through Z. And you have to work through that, and believe in yourself and be confident in what it is that you want to do, and work hard at it. No one's born a graphic designer. No one's born a filmmaker. That comes from passion, from taste, and from hard work. Most importantly, hard work. There's no easy path to it. There's no straight path. But if it's something that you want to pursue, then you work hard at it like anything else.
Well, thank you, Rem. And
Yeah.
and on that note, that notion of hard work, doing the work, having that belief in yourself is so important. Before we move on, I'll invite any of our young scholars in the chat. Do any of you have a quick question for Rem, or if not, we can continue with our program, but I do want to leave a moment for anyone to post a question in the chat who might have a question for Rem about his work or about how he got to where he is today.
I think you might be on mute if you're talking.
No, I was waiting for questions to pop up. I was just giving a little bit of time, but I'm not seeing any questions in the chat.
I do have
our scholars are perhaps a little shy, and that's okay.
I do have a comment. Tatiana, is that how you pronounce your name?
Yes, sir.
Tatiana said that was helpful. Thank you for that comment. How was it helpful for you? What kind of resonated with you, Tatiana?
The part when you said you're putting your passion out there for others to judge it. That really is true, because I make paintings myself just for a hobby. And when I go to like my mom or family members and I say, what do you think of this? Does this look good? Do I need to change something? I ask for advice. Do I need to move this over a little bit or make this brighter? It kind of gets me nervous.
Yeah, that's understandable. But it'll also help you get better.
Yes, it does, sir. I'm a very sensitive person. So when you say develop your thick skin, I know that's one of the things I'm going to really have to work on.
Well, being a creative and being sensitive is generally a paired, it goes with the territory. So, I'm extremely sensitive too. I think that's part of it, because we're passionate people. It's okay to be sensitive. It's okay to be who you are. It's okay to have feelings. You should have feelings. But my point was that, you just have to develop thick skin, meaning that you have to find that space within you that believes, that has a real belief, for yourself and what you do. Because, the biggest advocate in life, as you'll see, has to be yourself. Nothing moves forward unless you advocate for yourself and you believe in yourself. And it's okay to be sensitive along with believing in yourself. That's fine.
Thank you.
Tatiana, thank you for asking your question. Rem, thank you for your generous response. Our scholars seem, as they're just stepping into Pratt, perhaps a little shy today. I'm going to trust that they're going to have plenty of questions over the next 3 years through their pathway. And I'm going to hope that they'll keep in mind your admonition that they believe in themselves, that they know that they have the capacity, and that it is okay to be sensitive, and at the same time to learn to develop the capacity to persevere, to have a little bit of a thick skin, and never to lose sight of their goals as they pursue them. So Rem, thank you so much for sharing with us your story today and your words of encouragement. It's been a real pleasure spending time with you.
Absolutely.
So now I'm happy to introduce the deputy director of the Center K-12, someone who you're going to work with closely during the next 3 years, Tara Kopp. Tara will be sharing a little more of what to expect in the Pratt Young Scholars Program and some of our expectations for you as a student in the program as well.
Daniel, sorry, am I saying goodbye?
You're saying goodbye.
Okay, thanks everyone. Good luck to you. Work hard. Don't be shy next time, all right? Ask questions.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
See you
Have a
later.
good afternoon.
Okay, all right, bye-bye.
Okay. Hi, everyone. It's great to see all of you here today. And as Daniel said, my name is Tara, and I'm the Deputy Director of the Center, the K-12 Center. In addition to being one of the mentors you'll meet over the next 3 years, I'm also a professor here at Pratt. And for the next few minutes, I'm going to go over just the Scholars Program in a little more detail so you can get a sense of what the next 3 years will look like. If you have any questions, please type them into the chat and we'll do our best to answer them. This year, in your first year, you'll be taking 2 studio classes, Drawing the Figure with Professor Brian Brooks, who teaches foundation drawing classes at Pratt along with myself, and Sculpture, Space, and Form with Professors Alex Barker and Olivia Venn, who are both part of Pratt's architecture faculty. On Saturday afternoons, you'll also be taking a college access class where you'll learn about college majors, careers, and different types of colleges. Here are a few pieces that some past scholars have completed in the Drawing the Figure class. And this is what you'll be starting with on Wednesdays. And the next few pieces are from the Sculpture, Space, and Form class, which will be taking place on Saturdays. In your second year as a scholar, you'll take 2 more studio classes, Drawing the Object with Professor Jonathan Peck, who also teaches foundation classes at Pratt. And you'll also have the choice between taking a painting or printmaking. In addition to this, you'll have an SAT prep class. In your last year, you'll be able to choose 2 studio electives from film, fashion, and textile design, photography, and more. You'll also work closely with our college access advisor, who will help you through the college application and financial aid processes. Not only do we have classes in the fall and spring, but we also have classes in the summer. These classes take place for 2 weeks in July and are required to complete the program. So please save the July dates on your calendars now. Lastly, I want to point out that for some classes during the second year in the program, you will receive college credit. These credits can be used towards completing your degree when you go to college. This semester, our scholars classes will meet online via Zoom and Google Classroom, which means it's very important that you check your Pratt email regularly and that you stay in communication with us. Information and announcements will be shared to you through your Pratt email. Being in a virtual classroom also means that in order to participate, you'll need to make sure that your computer, mic, and camera are all working. So please test out these functions before your classes begin in 2 weeks. If you have, make sure that you have our office phone numbers and emails accessible so you can quickly reach out to us if you have any technical issues. We are here to help. Wendy and Esther, who are program administrators, are 2 people who you'll get to know very well and will be your main contacts. Please don't hesitate to reach out to them. If anyone has any questions, please write them in the chat now and we can try our best to answer them. And just as a reminder, your first class will be on Wednesday, September 22nd, which is just about 2 weeks. So mark that on your calendars and continue to check those emails. Any questions?
We have a question from Arya. Is there going to be any in-person learning?
Not this semester, but we are very hopeful in the spring that we'll be able to transition to in person in the spring. This fall will be online for everyone's safety.
And Lucas shares that he may have not gotten his Pratt email. Tara or Wendy, do you want to speak to that?
Lucas, I can look into that. I'm not sure. I think I'll answer two questions at once. Marilena wants to know if we will specifically use the Pratt emails for communication, and the answer to that is yes. So if you haven't seen anything yet relating to your Pratt email, I will do what I can to help you find your way to that, okay? And that will go for anybody. Feel free to let me know. We usually have a little transition time where we kind of a little bit use both, and then we ask you to switch over and primarily use your Pratt email, and that's how we'll be sending information to you, okay?
Yeah, so there seems to be a lot of confusion about the email. So I think that's something that we can follow up with you all as a class.
Yeah.
After the welcome event today, we'll make sure to get in touch so you guys are all set with your Pratt emails before classes begin. Any other questions? Oh, there's a note about the packages, the material packages. So Aria says she did not get the Pratt package. Is that?
I'll jump in.
Okay.
Aria, are you talking about your welcome package or materials? Because materials for the classes have not gone out yet, but will soon. The welcome package, yours, we had a little difficulty with it. It kind of went missing, and you're getting another one. Is that good?
Are there any other questions?
Lucas asks, what are the specific days that we have to come in person? The answer to that would be not this semester. All classes will be online. So you'll just have to make sure to be in your Zoom class on time and make sure you check your Google Classrooms for the right information that you need for each class. And this is all information that we'll reiterate with you via your emails as well. So no need to write anything specifically down right now.
And the class days are Wednesdays and Saturdays, but that will be remotely this fall. Anything else? Well, if you think of any other questions, you can just make a note, write them down. You can email them to us, or you can also continue to put them in the chat and we'll make sure to get to them at some point. But now it is my pleasure to introduce Troy. Troy graduated from the Pratt Young Scholars Program in 2016, who's part of our first graduating class, and studied digital art with a concentration in 3D animation at Pratt. Thanks, Troy, for joining us today.
Thank you, Tara. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Troy V Figg, alumnus of the Pratt Young Scholars Program and Pratt Institute. At Pratt, I studied 3D animation with my mindset on being a video game designer and game developer in the digital arts department. And currently, I'm a grad finishing up my final semester in Pratt. And I'm honestly so happy to see so many people still interested in becoming an artist. And I'll try and keep this brief, but I want to tell you about my time in the program and how it helped me in my following years. An overall view of my time in the Pratt Young Scholars Program was amazing. I was opened up to new mediums of art, and I had mentors were there to help me with anything I was doing. They helped guide me through from any project we did, from helping me find my next steps after high school. And I'm not going to lie, it is going to be awkward in the first few weeks and the next few coming weeks, but trust me, you'll love coming back every day. And you'll know everyone and you'll start to feel like you're part of a family that'll be able to grow and flourish. When I first stepped into the Pratt Young Scholars, I did mostly fine arts and just rough drawing of another form of medium. But with the little knowledge that I had, I just know that I like to draw. But as a scholar, I was introduced to sculpture, architecture, photography, 3D printing, you name it. And I was able to experience so many different art worlds just within the span of 3 years. And I was finally able to decide on what field I wanted to pursue. And my mentor at the time, Matthew, and everyone else on the program helped me along the way. I always wanted to make video games since I was a kid, so I kind of make my decision making like even easier for me. So a few years later, I'm an intern and a 3D generalist for a small gaming company. I also want to say, don't forget the friends that you make along the way. And that may seem really sappy, but really, I basically had a second family during my time at Pratt. I still talk to all my mates till this day, and we support each other in our art time and time again. And after I became an alum, I got help in areas that I needed help with, and whenever I could, I gave a hand. And what I said about friends does ring true. Trust me, you're going to love everyone here. Unconditionally. And that's all I want to let you know. Just enjoy the ride and take it all in, you can really go anywhere. Welcome and congrats again, everyone.
Troy, thank you so much for those remarks. Every year we invite a Pratt Young Scholar alum to join us for this event. And I'm always amazed to hear how the scholars experience continues to impact our alumni along their journey. Thanks again, Troy, for sharing with us how you came into Pratt Young Scholars, a kid who loved to draw, how you learned about so many different ways of making art, and now you find yourself an intern doing 3D computer animation. You were telling me about your upcoming thesis, which is a movie that's going to become a video game. It's just so exciting to hear how your path has gone forward, and so exciting to know that the friends that you made in the Pratt Young Scholars, the community that you built is still there for you, and you're still part of that community. Because Young Scholars, at the heart, that's what this is. Today is the beginning of a 3-year journey. 3 years of classes that Tara outlined, 3 years of support to help you get into the college that you want to be in. But it's also an opportunity to find mentors, to build a community, to give feedback, get feedback, and grow. Before we move on, there's a question for Troy, and Troy, if you're still there, Tatiana would like to know, what was your biggest challenge been at Pratt?
My biggest challenge at Pratt. There's a lot of different challenges, but man, this is a very tough question to answer. I'm so sorry about that. Toughest challenge at Pratt. I can say like a lot of my problems were tough, like just my general like entering into Pratt, understanding the workload and what's required of me, like the level of professionalism, and let's say time. No, all right, I lied to everybody. This is the biggest problem right here, time management. That is something that everybody should get down. Learning how to organize for how much time you need for whatever projects, learn how long it takes you to do certain things, get up in the morning per se for let's say you're in high school right now, so getting up, making sure you get to your team on time or your class on time, just like being able to organize your time is the biggest skill you could ever have right now.
That's a great reminder, Troy. Probably for all of us, it's something that never stops being important, being able to manage our time. So thank you for that, Troy.
Anytime.
So unless there are any other questions, now I'll pause for a moment. I want to actually introduce you, our new class of Pratt Young Scholars, not only to each other, but to the community at large. So I'm going to pass the mic over to one of our program administrators. You've heard her voice already talking with you a little about email, and you'll get plenty of emails from her. She's a key member of our team, and you will get to know her well, Wendy Margulies.
Hi, scholars. It's so nice to see you all here with us today. My name is Wendy, and I'm one of the program administrators along with Esther, whom you've also seen and heard from. I remember some of your faces from the scholars interview process, and I'm looking forward to getting to know you all in the next few years. As I read out each scholar's name, please hold your applause until the end, and we will unmute everyone. And at that end, once all the names have been read out loud, we can celebrate everyone. During the reading, please feel free to use the chat box to share your thoughts and congratulatory remarks. Thank you. Congratulations, Naeem Azan. Congratulations, Javin Cummins. Congratulations, Lucas Fernandez. Congratulations, Tanya Gomez. Congratulations, Arya Khan. Congratulations, Jada Kiadi. Congratulations, Julian Level Wilson. Congratulations, Samantha Maldonado. Congratulations, Marilena Moody. Congratulations, Tatiana Mundell. Congratulations, Angelina Noyen. Congratulations, Mariana Pintor. Congratulations, Derek Ramos Matos. Congratulations, Brandon Rosario. Congratulations, Crystal Ryan. Congratulations, Alexandra Stamatov. Congratulations, Pearl Thwasakpukde. Congratulations, Magdalena Tochimani. Congratulations, Jose Vinuesa. Welcome, Pratt Young Scholars Class of 24.
Yay! Congratulations, everyone.
What an amazing group of artwork. Holy cow. Well, parents, if you're following us on YouTube Live, I hope you're extraordinarily proud of your children. Pratt Young Scholars, I hope you're excited to see at least a glimpse of what your classmates and colleagues have done and to share with them a little bit of what you've done yourselves. I'm so excited that you're going to be with us for the next 3 years, that we have this opportunity to get to know you and support you as you find your pathway forwards. So again, congratulations to all the Pratt Young Scholars. We look forward to getting to know you and seeing all the incredible artwork you'll make in the next 3 years. And we, I mean, Tara, Wendy, Esther, and all of our faculty and staff, we are here first and foremost as a resource for you to learn and grow as artists and scholars. Please ask us any questions you have, reach out to us at any time. We're here to help you. Parents, thank you for lending your children to us. We're so excited to have you. And thank you everyone for joining us today. Scholars, we will see you online in your classes in just 2 weeks.